Traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways, call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital, peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk Today.
What's on your mind, Cayman? If you're ready to talk, we are ready to listen. Discussing current events and local news, community spotlights, hot topics, listener stories, cultural and historical discussions, environmental issues, fun and lighthearted topics, guest interviews. Cayman, basically anything you want to talk about, we are ready to listen. Here's your guest host, Orrett Connor.
Good afternoon and welcome to Talk Today. I'm your guest host, Orrett Connor, and I have a partner in the studio with me this afternoon, a co-host, none other than Mr. Ray Singh. So as soon as we throw this back to Paul, we're going to come back and we're going to have a huge dialogue with you, our favorite listeners, right here on Radio Cayman. So don't change that dial for the Talk Today. We'll be back shortly.
Talk Today is reminding you
to avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
And now, back to Talk Today.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today. Your host, Orrett Connor. Your co-host, I should say, along with Mr. Ray Singh this afternoon here. Ray, good afternoon. Great to have you as a co-host. Lots to talk about this morning. I was on fire this morning. I was hinting really to management. You know, I'm so fired up this morning. I could continue right on until 12:15.
You know, they actually sent me in for that reason. They said OC's getting a little out of hand in there. We need you to come down and temper him down and give the audience, you know, twice the value for, you know.
Yep.
Or try to, at least. How are you today?
I'm great. Happy
And
Friday.
Yourself? You know, it's been a week. It's tough to believe that it's mid-March already. Past mid-March, really. You know, we're nearing into that very dangerous, warmer time of year where we all sweat a lot more. And yeah, but otherwise, all good. Happy Friday.
You guys have been extremely busy as well, and you know,
sales and
those like candidates that, all the bookends and everything.
Those candidates are keeping us on their toes. Let me tell you, you got debates on one hand, you got campaigns on the other, schedules changing, and in the mix of all, you have OC just keeping everyone on their toes, keeping them honest, asking the hard questions.
Yep, and then trying to keep them happy as well.
Yeah, you're good at that. You're much better at that part than I am. They yell a lot at me. Like Miss Jan out there, she yells at me a lot. I'm just kidding, Miss Jan. I'm just kidding. It's a joke. It's a joke. So what are we talking about today?
Okay, well, I want to give make an appeal first of all. We had a caller this morning on For the Record, and that caller described the situation to us of an elderly person in West Bay who was really, really struggling and needed some assistance, and they were assisting as much as they could. We asked the caller to please leave their number with Paul in the control room, but for some reason he was talking to the person, but she apparently couldn't hear him. So if that person is listening, or if anyone knows that person who called in, please contact her, ask her to call again, because we do have an inquiry, from someone about the person in their district as well. So we want to share that information with them and try to get us the assistance that this person needs, and also to connect the two individuals as well. So if you called in this morning, or if you knew the person who called in describing a situation with an elderly person in West Bay, and Paul, did they say West Bay Central? I can't remember if it was West Bay Central or not, but please call us back. We need to get those details so that we can take care of this lady as well. So that was what I wanted to put out there as early as possible, so that between now and 2:30 we can get that information.
We could throw some reminders out there.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Did they say what the was it a health matter, or was it a scenario of finance?
Just needing assistance. Just
So
to have anything.
Well, I'm glad to hear that one of our candidates up in West Bay up there is jumping on, and
So, Ray, the phone lines are lighting up already, so maybe people like this combination already, right? Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
Hello.
Yeah, Ray.
You laughing?
Miss-
Laughing matters. Anybody gonna get silent back on that station? And you got some competition coming out, and I can't get my permit renewed.
I love this moment.
Oh my God! Everything that I had to tell you, I forget.
This might go down as one of my funniest moments on the radio came in. Miss Jan, happy Friday.
What a mess that decision is in with all these 59 people. I hope you're making some money, because the posters is looking pretty.
Yes. And they're big too. Some of them even
humongous.
Yes.
Jesus have mercy. You can't miss it. Because someone put likes on it for like time so you can see them more. You watch. But I listen. Oh God, I'm not gonna get in this politics situation. But I just want to say that I was listening to the debate the other night with the East End people.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and I was very, very, very impressed with the young lady. Is it Jiva?
Jiva, yeah.
I was very impressed with her. And the other young lady, she was kind of okay, but Jiva, I think Jiva took the whole cake for East End. The night they had it on the TV there.
Mm-hmm.
Why was that?
I don't know her. I am not here trying to pick up her in any way of gain for myself, but just what I saw and how I felt of that. What do you call it? The show, we would call that type of
the Chamber Forum. The forum, they call it Chamber Forum.
Chamber Forum. Yes, I am not here. I'm looking around the button for her or me, but I think when you see something that is good, you should say something about it.
Yeah.
So I'm very impressed with her conversation. She was in button and she was in feeling, and she was just straightforward. And no disrespect to all the other ones. I guess they'll get some practice in the meantime, whatever the case may be. But anyhow, I watched. And then in the East End one, I'm going to call the name, Mr. McLean. They was talking about tourism for a little while, and Mr. McLean said that any taxi driver that treats our visitors B-A-D, bad, they should be fired. And I almost sunk in my bed when I was watching that on the TV. I'm like, fire a taxi driver because it was rude to a visitor to the island. There's always two sides to a story. And I think I just came to you the other day stating that any visitor that comes to this island has any problem. We got a tourism set up, board, whatever. They should have an email for these people that can send back a complaint to them and call in the taxi driver and see which side is really even out, working out to say who was in just as much fault. And you can always tell when someone's lying. Now, you're not going to put no like detective test on nobody for that these days, though, see. You understand? They got all kind of ways of finding that you're lying. Your eyes twinging, you're turning, you're twisting, you're carrying on, and your lips twisting and carrying on. But anyhow, I just want to say that I didn't expect to hear that on a forum, to fire the taxi drivers if they are rude to the visitors to this Cayman Island. I'm like, excuse me? And I want to say, we had two boats seen the other day, right? I went down to work and I was called down and I was not successful that day at no point in time. But you know what? People came there from the hotels looking at taxi to go back to the hotels and I was there. So I didn't do no cruise ship that day. I just did strictly, not my choice, came to the port looking to get back to the hotels, local visitors on the island. And I made $1 from the cruise ship.
Wow.
And yesterday, it was the same thing for me. I left at a period of time and other taxi drivers the day before. Let me tell you something. People see these taxi drivers at the park off and nobody come out there investigate how things are going. If the taxi is parked up in that port up until 1 o'clock and not move, you have to go down to Royal or anything from North Terminal. Something is definitely wrong, Mr. O.C. And there was a commercial on the other day with this Elio name, with this lady out there with this umbrella talking about a port and sun and blah, blah, blah. Mr. O.C., when I came to your station and talked to you about the jet race to the airport, you said that is what they are coming here for the sunshine.
Yep. You have memory. You have such good memory, like an elephant, Miss Jan.
You say the people are coming here for the sunshine, so when they step off of that plane, they want to feel the sun. I say the same thing about our visitors. When they come here for sun. Sun and sand. That's what they come here for. So all of this protection that we are trying to give them in regards to our port. A visitor told me the other day they was in another island, and they said it was a chaos at the port. There must have been about 3-4 cruise ships docked up. And he said the taxis were just as long as the dock. He said it was a chaos. He said that he just had to hurry get away from it because he didn't know he hid from me till at that present time. It was so confusing. So you guys need to just stay how you all are. And see another thing. People was on here last week off the cruise ship, and I saw a group together, and I would say they had from 5 to 6 wheelchairs, and they make them still more portable now that it's unreal. They can fold up so neatly, fold into your car and flick them up when you get where you're going to go with these people. And these people are coming aboard with these types of wheelchairs as it is now. See, I could go on and on because I have a lot to talk about, but I know I would have get a permit to come and talk on your station because...
Well, you don't need a permit for that. You don't need... All you have to do is become a candidate.
No, Miss Jan, you have an open invite anytime to come join any conversation we have.
I'm not coming onto that show because they will pelt me down the road when I come out. They would pelt me.
No, Mr. OC's got security for you.
Yeah, right. They did across me the other day, coming out of some, I don't know sure what store it was. I didn't recognize her. She said that your friend is gone. I say, yeah. I said, you know what I do? And she say, just keep talking. Just keep talking. I'm like, really? You know? Okay. But I know you're probably going to break time. You won't talk to me no more. So
thank you.
I'll talk to you guys later.
Okay.
Bye.
You take care. Be safe on the roads out there as well.
Don't mention. Thank you.
Have a great weekend, Ms. Jan.
Folks, we're going to go to a commercial break. When we return, my co-host, Mr. Ray Singh, and I will engage you in some very, very good conversation. So don't change that dial. Talk today. We'll be back shortly.
Hi, this is Donna Bush, your PPM candidate for Savannah.
Hi, this is Alva Saku, your PPM candidate for Newlands.
Come out on Saturday, March 22nd at 7 p.m. to our joint Savannah and Newlands area meeting at the ICCI parking lot.
Come listen to the issues and solutions that matter to you. We are proven stable leadership.
Moving forward with the PPM.
We're moving forward. We're moving forward. We're moving forward. See the light again.
Easter vacation is just around the corner, and Cayman Airways has added multiple extra flights to some of your favorite destinations, some of mine too. Look here, they got seats available now for booking on extra Easter flights between Grand Cayman and Kingston, La Ceiba, Miami, Cayman Brac, Little Cayman, and you can even catch a non-stop flight to Montego Bay for Easter. Check it out. You can visit CaymanAirways.com, contact a local travel agent, or call Cayman Airways Reservations on 949-2311. And don't wait too long though, because these extra Easter seats always sell fast. Be sure to add your Sir Turtle Rewards number to your booking so you can earn more miles for more free trips this year. Well, I know where I'm going. I'll see you on board a uniquely Caymanian airline for Easter.
Subway and Oreo has changed the dessert game. Introducing the Oreo Footlong Cookie, a full 12 inches of chocolatey, creamy goodness. It's big, it's bold, and it's here for a limited time. Perfect for sharing or not. We won't judge. Want it fast? Order ahead with the Subway Cayman Islands app for quick pickup and earn loyalty points, or get it delivered straight to your door with Bento and Let's Eat. Don't wait. Treat yourself today. The Oreo Footlong Cookie is calling your name. Subway. Eat fresh. Snack sweet.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Protect your computers and mobile devices with security software to defend against cyber attacks through viruses, malware, and other online threats. Be aware of unsecure Wi-Fi connections when in public. If you need to access your online banking or sensitive information on your mobile devices, try disabling the Wi-Fi and switching to data from your mobile network. If you suspect a fraud attempt, please contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
For the past 10 years, Health City Cayman Islands has been providing a comprehensive range of in-house medical services, from routine care to highly complex surgeries. We've transformed healthcare in the region, saving thousands of lives in the process. Recognized for quality and excellence, Health City brings together expert doctors, the best technology, and the latest techniques to provide world-class healthcare to those who need it. Health City Cayman Islands, a decade of healing.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report, Monday through Friday, is proudly sponsored by CG Britcay. Insurance, health, pensions, life, where people come first.
Cayman, are you ready for real change? Here's your chance to meet the candidates of the CI National Party. Join us at the party's rally on Saturday, 22nd March from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Compass Green. Live entertainment, great food, kids corner, and so much more. Come, hear the vision for hope, prosperity, and unity. Park and ride services provided from Georgetown, West Bay, and the Eastern Districts. Visit www.nationalparty.ky for event details. See you there. This ad was paid for by the Cayman Islands National Party.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Ray, I'm going to ask you to do the intro this time around instead of me all over
We're
the
handing
time.
the torch, the conch back and forth. And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you're just tuning in, very pleased to be joined in studio, or to be joining Mr. OC in studio, co-hosting today's special Friday episode. A first for Mr. OC and I on Talk Today.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, I've had the opportunity with Dwayne a few times. Always enjoy it. I always did say to Dwayne, it'd always be fun to have the three of us in studio with JJ in the back.
Mm-hmm.
No offense to Paul and Susan. None at all, because Miss Susan and Paul keep this place running, right? But JJ has this, such a highly intellectual DJ, JJ at the Iceman, right? And can talk a lot as well.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So he has a lot to say. And he has nobody to talk to out here on, there's nobody to talk to in the studio at nighttime. JJ's there, right?
His hours,
so when
yeah,
he has an opportunity
yeah.
to talk to somebody, JJ utilizes that opportunity to the fullest, to the max. And so one day we'll have a on the show again.
Okay, let's talk about something other than politics. For now, we know it's going to come up. But here in Cayman, and I believe the Anti-Corruption Commission, I believe it was, recently brought cases against individuals in Cayman about the vehicle registrations and certification. So I see here in Jamaica where they're going to extend the validity of motor vehicle fitness certificate and registration, which is a good thing. I believe here in Cayman now, if you purchase a new vehicle, you can register, I believe, registration and inspection for 3 years, I believe, something like that. Or just the registration, I'm not too sure. But it can be done for 3 years. After that, then it has to be done on an annual basis. Here's what Jamaica is doing, and maybe something that we should consider, right? Our government will move to implement a new system for motor vehicle fitness certificate and registration. So in his contribution to the budget debate in Parliament, the Prime Minister, Andrew Holness, said that the first certificate of fitness for new motor vehicles will be issued for 5 years. 5 years. So they're going up to 5 years. Like I said, I believe we do 3 years here, but I stand to be corrected. And for used vehicles that are under 10 years, the validity period will be 3 years, as well. And that's another thing that we need to look at also here, whether or not we could do, even if it's beyond 10 years, because when you look at the end of the day, to me, personally, I believe that where roadworthiness is concerned has to do with vehicles that are used for public transport and those dump trucks that are, mashing up our roads all the time with those heavy loads and driving, recklessly driving, just like they are, an automobile, a car on our roads.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those should be subject to annual inspections. Bingo. But, why are you having people crowded up at these places the end of every month or whatever when you can do it basically on an annual basis? One, of course, the issues with that is that if you collect the fees for 3 years, don't spend it all in one year. You should ring fence the remainder of that fee so that each year that part of it goes into the budget. And sometimes government fails to do that. Ray, you want to grab the call? We have 2 callers on hold. You want to grab them?
Yeah. Let's take our first caller. Good afternoon, caller, or second caller. Good afternoon, caller. Thank you for calling Talk Today.
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
Yeah, evening. I was saying evening. I don't know your name, so I just Elvis.
His name is Ray.
Yeah, okay. But I was saying, I hear you talk about something that we should think about doing what Jamaica done. Well, the same Andrew Holness, he decriminalized ganja. He can get 2 ounces in 5 trees. We should think about that.
Okay.
Another thing from England now. This is one from England. I don't know if you noticed. Heathrow Airport is shut down.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
King Charles, our king, the king of England and the overseas territory, is now taking medicinal cannabis treatment for his cancer.
Mm-hmm.
So the king of England is taking it, and we want to smoke it.
And because we can take we can do the same thing here from a medicinal purpose, as well. I believe once it's approved.
Yeah. All we gotta do, okay. See, that's $1 billion prop, billions of dollars worldwide. What we can't know, if the king is using it, why we can't grow it now for medicinal purpose? I would like to grow some in Senate for myself, personally. Look at he my king, He my king too. Although I black, he white, but he's still my king. That's just how we go.
Yep.
And I won't hear with a politician and chime in on that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Elvis. Let's grab the next caller. Caller, good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
I'm reasonably well. I hope you're well also.
Thank you.
I have a lament today. When generally speaking, I like the way CUC does work on the roads and stuff. They mark their working places very well, and they handle the traffic and things like that. And generally, the other thing is, when CUC wants to increase their rate, the cost of electricity, I guess they get it approved by whoever they have to get it approved, Orrett or whoever has to do that, and then they implement it. Now, recently, I had a solar panel installation, and a couple months ago, there was an announcement that they would change the rate at which they reimburse people for electricity they sell to CUC from solar panels. And my package would have gone from 15 cents a kilowatt to 17.5 cents per kilowatt. However, because the application for the permission to do solar to be connected to the grid was done slightly before they announced the increase in rate. And by the way, they said for existing users and producers, it would be increased automatically. However, now that that the installation is producing electricity, they are still reimbursing people at the old rate. And so now I checked with GreenTech, the people that did the installation, and said, what gives? They announced the increase in the rate, and yet they're still reimbursing at the old rate. And they said, oh, yeah, what they're saying now is because the initial approval was done at the old rate, you have to do a whole new application and spend another $500 on legal work to reapply for a permission to sell the electricity back to the grid before they will increase the rate.
Wow.
Really?
Wow.
That to me is horrible.
Have you actually spoken to CUC and Orrett? If so, what was CUC's response?
No, I have not spoken to them.
Who did you speak to?
I understand from Orrett that they have done the same thing to everybody else, and they are now required to do that extra paperwork. I do admit I have not spoken to CUC on it.
Yeah.
But I want to just bring a little public awareness to something that seems underhanded.
Can I ask you another quick question then on that one? Because just given the type of season that we're in right now, CUC and energy usage being one of those big ticket topics, have you spoken to someone who's running for office about making a phone call for you that they might actually get a quicker response than you might? Because I think your complaint, or if what you're saying is actually is accurate, which it sounds like it is, and there's others that are affected, it's more of a group class action kind of scenario where CUC is more likely to be very responsive if this is something where they're in violation.
This is the whole purpose of my call at this time.
Ah, well, fair enough then.
Yeah.
I'm all caught up then with you.
Okay. And that's all I've got right now on that. There are lots of things to talk about, but that's why I'm calling today.
Okay, well, we'll be here until 2:30, so if you want to call back, please feel free to do so, Mr. Peter, as well.
Yeah, or give us a call next week. Let us know the update on where you are, on what your outcome was, and then maybe we can,
Yeah, I will let you know.
Please
do. Excellent. Folks, we're going to take a commercial break. Please stay tuned. Talk today. We'll be back shortly.
Candidate for Georgetown Central, Anthony Ramon, has organized a Georgetown Quincentennial Monument cleanup for tomorrow, Saturday, March 22nd at 6 a.m. Join Anthony Ramon and friends in helping to beautify the community with a cleanup of the Georgetown Quincentennial Monument at the corner of Shedden Road and Dr. Roy's Drive at 6 a.m. this Saturday morning, March 22nd. Light refreshments will be provided.
Easter vacation is just around the corner, and Cayman Airways has added multiple extra flights to some of your favorite destinations, some of mine too. Look here, they got seats available now for booking on extra Easter flights between Grand Cayman and Kingston, La Ceiba, Miami, Cayman Brac, Little Cayman, and you can even catch a non-stop flight to Montego Bay for Easter. Check it out. You can visit CaymanAirways.com, contact a local travel agent, or call Cayman Airways reservations on 949-2311. And don't wait too long though, because these extra Easter seats always sell fast. Be sure to add your Sir Turtle Rewards number to your booking so you can earn more miles for more free trips this year. Well, I know where I'm going. I'll see you on board a uniquely Caymanian airline for Easter.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Did you know ordering your favorite sandwich from Subway just got easier? Yeah, picture this. No more waiting in line. No more fussing with cash. Just a delicious taste of Subway at your fingertips. With our new app, ordering your go-to sub is as easy as a few taps on your phone. Plus, receive exclusive deals and earn loyalty points with every purchase made on the app. Download the new Subway app today and get ready to ditch the lines and drive straight into your flavor. Visit the App Store or Google Play Store on your mobile phone and search for Subway Cayman Islands. Subway. Eat fresh.
Cayman, could it be you? Tortuga's 10K giveaway is back, and someone's walking away with $10,000 in cash. Every time you spend $25 at Tortuga, in store or online at tortuga.ky, you get a shot at winning big. As well as $10,000 in cash, we've got thousands in giveaways to hand out every week. Think staycations, the latest iPhones, exclusive experiences, and more. Get in to win. Visit tortuga.ky for the full terms and conditions.
Hi, this is Donna Bush, your PPM candidate for Savannah.
Hi, this is Alva Saku, your PPM candidate for Newlands.
Come out on Saturday, March 22nd at 7 p.m. to our joint Savannah and Newlands area meeting at the ICCI parking lot.
Come listen to the issues and solutions that matter to you. We are proven stable leadership. Moving forward with the PPM.
We're moving forward. We're moving forward. We're moving forward. See the light again.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. I am your co-host in the studio along with Mr. Ray Singh. Ray, I believe that you want to comment on the
Jamaica, the vehicle
article that I spoke about in the Gleaner. Yeah,
it's an interesting scenario because it's there's a lot of benefits they would have from like the reduction in the administration for renewing their vehicles. But in putting it into a Cayman context for a second, having been a user of government services in various capacities, we all are in some way. One of the entities within government that I find to be such a well-oiled machine, no pun intended, is the DVDL, right? They are dealing with population increases the same way everybody else is doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But their services are steady with, like, you have a wait when you go there. You know you expect it. But it used to be, when I first came to Cayman 20 years ago, it used to be you would go there and wait for a half a day. That was when you'd go to the one by the police station.
Oh, I remember standing under that breadfruit tree that was right there by the door.
Yeah, and you just wait because you knew you're there for the long haul. You didn't know what time you were leaving. You just know you're there for the day.
Yeah.
Taking lunch, you're taking vacation day to go register your car.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the case anymore. DVDL has created, whether through leverage other technologies, through staff training, through the new facility, obviously always a big help. But they do a great job. But I think to your point of like the longer registration period, I think just for to reduce the stress on people of having to go down and register vehicles, if you have a vehicle, your inspection guys know. You're already doing multi-year renewals, right? Increase it if you can and reduce that stress, especially for us older folks. I'm with you in this one.
And they can then concentrate their efforts on other things that need.
Yeah, we were talking about the drivers, right? Like those truck drivers, and you mentioned the truck drivers and their life. I mean, I drive in the mornings the same route you drive from the Eastern Districts, and between like at 6:30, 7:30, before the really heavy traffic for school kicks in, the service vehicles are on the road. And you have these AC company vans, truck vans, the big trucks you talk about, and they are driving so ridiculously dangerous with their company logos plastered all over their van. I'm not going to name it on air, but so for those firms out there that are doing that, and from our perspective, from users and government, those are the ones that you should be having license checks every year. Those are truck drivers.
Yep. We have a caller. Let's grab the caller before we go to our headline news at 1 o'clock. Caller, good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
Good afternoon to you, Mr. O.C. and Mr. Ray.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Good afternoon, sir.
Just fine, thank you. I have to be very guarded with what I say. I'm sure you'll appreciate that. I've never been one to shrink from speaking certain things. With regards to the peer proposal, I've been in the cruise tourism world nearly 20 years now. 15. I've been in the tourism world for over 55 years.
Wow.
But cruise tourism, I say this, and I've said it before, over and over. In order for us to remain relevant in cruise tourism, we're going to have to build a pier or two piers, so forth. Right? We know the right, correct place to build it would be in Red Bay. Every mariner has said that, every master mariner, including my cousin, Captain Paul Horston, whom I have conversations with on a regular basis. Yes, that's where it should be. In town, we more or less have no choice now. And to think that in town, with the amount of shipping that's there, that is a, what do you call it, a marine park? I think that's what it is.
I think something like that, yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. They're huge vessels. What we have, the vessels coming in just for cargo now, and I think those who know much more than me about sea, well, my father's a master mariner, shipbuilder, and turf and everything. That they're much, much bigger than just 40 years ago. They're much larger. The seaboard ships coming in here now, the largest vessel we had was Kirk Chief, I think. And she would be a dwarf catboat beside these big seaboard vessels, and the other ones come. I mean, we have to face reality. We're doing like 40 times the load of cargo that we did before. There are ships out there, they're dragging on because they have to wait. No use pretending that it doesn't happen. They're going to have to drag their anchors. These giant vessels, thousands of tons, moving with tide, with waves, with this, with that. The sea is never still. It'll be dead calm when we have a wind from the north, like on the south side. Out there, it's dead calm, even though it's the deepest part. But we have to face reality. It's never, look at the sound. It's never really dead calm and not shallow. But anyhow, we need a pier because there are other reasons. Those people who are coming off, as Mr. Jan was talking about, with, slight, and many of them with very big handicaps and so forth. I see it every day. So I'm not. And they're elderly people. I look at the ages that are visiting now and so forth and all that. They're unable to really walk fast and move along fast. And when you're doing tours and have that, the time they have to turn around to do some shopping, to do a proper tour, they have to hurry back to the vessel. We got to get back to the tender. We got to get back to the tender now. That's the call. You understand what I'm saying?
Got you.
Good.
Got you.
If you think that doesn't mean something, you are living in a dream world, Mr. Jim Bottom's world, that he always said to me, Mick, I'm afraid we're living in a Disney world, dream world. So we need to build a pier. The question is those who oppose it have got to state what we're going to do with the thousands of people who are going to lose their businesses, who are going to lose their jobs and so forth, so on. They're going to have to send some back home. Many are working, work permits, etc., etc. Get up and say specifically, well, we'll send the people back home, we'll find some job for the other people, and we'll recompense the people in the businesses, because mostly Caymanians, there's thousands of them. We've got to decide. We can build a pier out at the Turtle Farm, Vicksville there on that bluff. It can be done. The cheapest you can do it. We know that. I won't go into that. We can talk.
Thank you very much, caller. Yeah, we have to go to a news break now. Thank you. Thank you very much. Folks, please stay tuned. Talk Today. We'll be back shortly.
Yesterday, today,
always and forever.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
Good afternoon. With a look at your latest headlines, I'm Jevi Ebanks. Heard about the closure of the biggest airport in the UK? Heathrow is down for the count, and yes, Cayman is being affected. The Cayman Islands Airport Authority tells Radio Cayman due to the closure of the London Heathrow Airport, British Airways Flight 253 and 252 are not operating today. A fire at a nearby electrical substation has shut down much of Europe's most busiest airport. Heathrow says no planes will fly today and has warned of days of disruption. In regional news, Haiti is facing a new cholera outbreak years after the deadly 2010 epidemic. Since January, over 900 suspected cases and 4 confirmed cases have been reported, with over 100 suspected cases in the past 3 weeks. Security issues are hampering response efforts, raising concerns of undetected transmission. The Haitian government and the World Health Organization are providing medical supplies and setting up rehydration and chlorination points. However, funding for water, sanitation, and hygiene services is critically low, with only 3.6 million of the 87 million needed secured. Less than 30% of health facilities nationwide are fully operational. The outbreak highlights the need for coordinated response, including clean water, sanitation, vaccination, and community engagement. International support remains crucial to prevent further spread. Jamaica Prime Minister Andrew Holness, during the 2025-2026 budget debate, criticized the opposition's People's National Party for its economic mismanagement in the past. He highlighted his administration's achievement, including reducing debt to 68% of GDP, introducing sound fiscal policies, and launching initiatives like the Jamaica $1 billion Solidarity Program to support 50,000 vulnerable Jamaicans. Holness announced the US $350 North Sound Highway Extension Project and the Cultural Apprenticeship Program for young people. He emphasized resilience in Jamaica's economy, measures like disaster funds and catastrophe bonds, and pledged to break generational poverty through the Hope for Children Trust Fund. That is your latest headlines. I'm Jevi Ebanks.
Radio Cayman. More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Do you have a healthcare question but not sure who to ask? Contact HSA's Patient Call Center to speak to one of our experienced clinical team members. We are here to answer your questions and help guide you through your healthcare journey. Need to make an appointment? Our team can help. Contact HSA at 949-8600 or email info@hsa.ky. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
On the 6th of December, 1960, at 8:20 a.m., the St. Clair Petrolor vessel from National Bulk Carriers was 950 miles off of Trinidad, carrying 29 Caymanians. The ship was rocked by 4 separate explosions in the space of just 30 seconds, causing various parts of the ship to erupt in fire. The first explosion was in the bow of the ship, the second in the number 4 hatch, the third in the number 11 hatch, with the fourth in the aft tunnel doors. Vigorous attempts were made to extinguish the intense flames, but with no success, and the captain gave the signal to abandon ship, and the crew filled up and lowered the 2 remaining lifeboats into the water. Following a head count, it was discovered that 2 crew members were missing and unfortunately were never seen again. The lifeboats were tied together and a sea anchor was cast out to prevent the boats from drifting too quickly. The St. Clair sank that afternoon, and the men continued to drift at sea for hours until being rescued that night by the English ship named the Mary Ellen Conway with an Italian crew. The men were transported to Brazil, where they were later flown home via Trinidad and Jamaica.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Explore your history, explore your land. Explore your Sister Islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your Sister Islands.
Discover all that our Sister Islands have to offer.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. We have a caller on hold and I have a co-host in the studio. I'm doing all the work, so I'm going to assume lay a lot of that over to Ray. But again, I want to make a call. This morning we had a caller on For the Record who called in about an elderly lady in West Bay who needed assistance, who needed help. We were unable to get the caller's number this morning so that we could recontact that individual. If you are listening, or if someone who's listening knows who the caller is, please, please, please have them get in contact with us here at Radio Cayman, because we want to connect them with individuals who want to look into the matter and want to help. Also, if not, they can also contact the community officer, Miss Cinda Welcome, at 916-0462. 916-0462, Miss Cinda Welcome, the community officer as well. Let's grab the caller, Ray.
Yes, absolutely. Good afternoon, caller. Thanks for calling Talk Today. Hello, good afternoon, caller.
Hi.
Hi, good afternoon.
Mr. Ray, are you going to be taking Radio Cayman over since Sterling down?
No, currently Mr. O.C. and I have a bet on like an arm wrestling match. Whoever wins that arm wrestling match is going to kind of assume the throne. Right now, Mr. O.C. is, the more seasoned veteran behind the mic. So as of right now, I'm going to say no, Ms. Jan.
Yeah, but he can't handle it. He's getting old. He won't have no time for the community.
There's no shame in your game.
Bicycle no more. Won't be riding bicycle no more. But this morning I mentioned there was a video going around in regards to downtown with the cruise ship passengers, and there was a lady with an umbrella on and was talking to whoever in regards to the island and needing a dock, and it's hot and blah blah. Oh, see, we had a lot of Chinese people coming here on these cruise ships, but they're not as plentiful as they used to be. They used to come off with an umbrella and a glove. There's them kind of people that like to protect themselves, but they're not crazy about the sun, but they will still travel. But I'm not seeing them like I was seeing them before COVID, and even after COVID now you're not seeing that right now,
Well, bear in mind that China to a certain extent is still suffering from the effects of COVID as well. So if they were actually Chinese nationals and traveling and stuff like that, there are still some restrictions in China that we may not be aware of.
Yeah, but I say not to say this, and with this lady with this ad that she was doing for I think it's Ilya and them who got this little ad up on Facebook there in regards to port and so forth. And this lady had this umbrella over her. And I just want to say that in almost the 20 years that they're doing taxi, I have never seen anybody came off with an umbrella no more than those Chinese people. And like I said, they're not plentiful like they used to be. And at one point in time, there was a lot of umbrellas purchased, and it was all lined off down there on the waterfront when the cruise ships are coming in. And for some reason, them umbrellas hasn't been up in a long time. I don't know if they got destroyed or they're just in storage, catching dust or what the story may be. I don't know. But I'm not saying that we don't need a dock. Don't get me wrong and don't judge me wrong. But where we're going to put it, I don't know. And who's going to pay for it and who's going to benefit from it is going to be solid, the government or the cruise people are going to build it and they're going to hold it for so many years. That is a no-no. And even if government build it, then how much is it going to cost? And it's going to be left for our grandchildren to pay for that pair that may not even drive a taxi in a lifetime,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I just want to say that, we do need one, but where, I don't know. But the way we're going on about it, I think it's crazy, and we are not a bunch of idiots, and people take us for a bunch of idiots in this taxi business, and the rest of the people who are not in the taxi business. And a lot of them have common sense to know that one is needed, but we need more information that we can't even get. So if and when I go to the polls next month, I will be voting no for all three of the things: gambling, the dock, and ganja. I would be voting no. If I didn't vote for individual, I would be voting for those three things. No.
Okay, so we know your position.
Yeah, you got that right. You're not changing. I don't need nothing to make me go to sleep no more in Jesus. Yeah, take it easy and have a good one. Bye.
Thanks, Mr.
Okay, take care.
Good.
I have one comment to Ms. Jan's comment. It's
Mm-hmm.
not exactly the most topical comment. One thing I love about Ms. Jan and some of the main sharks that do call in the station, there is no shame in their game. Mr. OC, according to Ms. Jan's last call, you can't manage it, and you're too old. That's all I got out of Ms. Jan's call. So after that, my brain went, Ms. Jan's got no I love it. I love Ms. Jan. On that poor conversation, I was on with Mr. OC, with Sterling a few weeks back, and then with Miss Marla the other day. Obviously, the poor conversation is one that always comes back around, right? And the only comment I always make on the port one is both sides have had the same conversation points, unchanging, unwavering, real conversation points for so long now. The conversation has just become blanket noise for so many people that I think it really truly has, and I would like to see both sides be a little more collaborative in their approach. I'm not saying whether it's to build a port or not build a port, you're going to have a referendum on it and decide on that. But if we're going to have a progressive, a real conversation about how to move forward, my personal belief is to build a port. To be very honest, it is to build a port, and it is, as you said, in the break. We already have a location currently that we have overutilized in this respect, and really put a lot of strain on the marine life already in place.
Yep.
We don't need to reinvent that wheel again and do it again somewhere else.
Somewhere else, yeah.
But with that said, the side on the quote-unquote left on this conversation, the environmentalists who are very concerned, the folks who are not for a cruise port industry as much as it was in the past. My concern on that one, because I hear their points, is we have tourism boards, we have all these boards. You already have an infrastructure for a port authority. The side that has the environmental concerns has some very, very, very strong points.
Yes.
And those concerns, in my opinion, have not been mitigated by the other side. But if you come to the table together and you create an advisory board where that other side, where Her Excellency has responsibility for good governance, and that board is put in place to make sure the economic interests of generational Caymanian businesses do benefit from that. You have the right to control it. You can make sure every person working on that pier in that industry is a generational Caymanian. You have the ability. You can make sure of it. You can make sure the businesses. You can make sure that the port developers, whoever is developing it, that the contracts awarding are done. That board can do, and that voice of that left side can not control that board, but can really influence the decisions to make sure that long term they do it right.
Yep.
Stop holding the progress. That's my only comment on that.
Okay, we have a caller on hold. We need to take a commercial break first. Folks, please stay tuned. Talk today. We'll be back shortly.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Easter vacation is just around the corner, and Cayman Airways has added multiple extra flights to some of your favorite destinations, some of mine too. Look here, they got seats available now for booking on extra Easter flights between Grand Cayman and Kingston, La Ceiba, Miami, Cayman Brac, Little Cayman, and you can even catch a non-stop flight to Montego Bay for Easter. Check it out. You can visit CaymanAirways.com, contact a local travel agent, or call Cayman Airways Reservations on 949-2311. And don't wait too long though, because these extra Easter seats always sell fast. Be sure to add your Sir Turtle Rewards number to your booking so you can earn more miles for more free trips this year. Well, I know where I'm going. I'll see you on board a uniquely Caymanian airline for Easter.
Candidate for Georgetown Central, Anthony Ramon, has organized a Georgetown Quincentennial Monument cleanup for tomorrow, Saturday, March 22nd at 6 a.m. Join Anthony Ramon and friends in helping to beautify the community with a cleanup of the Georgetown Quincentennial Monument at the corner of Shedden Road and Dr. Roy's Drive at 6 a.m. tomorrow, Saturday morning, March 22nd. Light refreshments will be provided.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Here are a few tips that will benefit you. Ensure to log out completely when you finish any online banking activities. Be aware of phishing attempts and only click links from trusted sources that are sent from your device through emails and messages. Remember, Cayman National will never ask you for your credentials. If you suspect a fraud attempt or that your account has been compromised, please immediately contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Take some advice from your Aunt Angie. If you're going to invest in an exotic pet, choose anything but a Norwegian forest cat. Apparently, they will eat all your jewelry. Before you know it, you're racing to the vet when your cat escapes from his carrier and lunges for your earrings. You crash and your cat swallows your pearls. But if you're smart, you'll have CG Motor Insurance and get the best comprehensive coverage for the price.
Get the best comprehensive coverage for the price. CG Britke. Good like that. All benefits are subject to policy provisions, including eligibility at the time of service.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Cayman, are you ready for real change? Here's your chance to meet the candidates of the CI National Party. Join us at the party's rally on Saturday, 22nd March from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Compass Green. Live entertainment, great food, kids' corner, and so much more. Come, hear the vision for hope, prosperity, and unity. Park and ride services provided from Georgetown, West Bay, and the Eastern Districts. Visit www.nationalparty.ky for event details. See you there. This ad was paid for by the Cayman Islands National Party.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you're just tuning in, a special broadcast. Mr. OC and myself, Ray Singh, collaborating today to work together and co-host Talk Today and fill the big shoes of Mr. Sterling, who's now adventuring. But we do have two callers on the line. Good afternoon, caller. Thanks for calling Talk Today.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
And first to Mr. Connor, I was wondering what you had eaten or drank this morning. You sounded all fired up.
Oh, yes.
You had a lot of pep in your step. So I was wondering if you could share it with me to help me feel a little bit better. Because, I'm still under the weather. And
Sorry to hear that.
I think it's time I put in a personal call to Rod Stewart now and make him know that I'm still paying for it. Anyway. But, and good afternoon to Mr. Singh.
Good afternoon.
I just want to say, and I'm not saying I'm correct, but I heard you all talking about, these big trucks and, the terms that they could be licensed for and stuff. I don't know if it applies to them, but I know when I did my car the last time, I had the option to do it for, I think, 3 years or 5 years, something like that. And anyway, since I'm afraid of the ramp and stuff, I always get somebody to do it for me. And they did it for whatever the longest period was that it could be done for. So it was either done for 3 years or 5 years. So I wonder if that applies to these big trucks as well. But anyway, and then I heard another caller talking about the pair. And she stated her position on it. And I'm going to use that as a segue to say, once Minister J was on OC's show, and I called him, and I said to him that they said you mustn't flog a dead horse. But I told him that was one dead horse that I was prepared to keep flogging till I got some results. And that was about us getting a legal turning lane into the post office here in Savannah and into the primary school. And eventually it got done. Sometime last year, it got done. And I never got an opportunity to say thank you to him on the air. And again, I'm saying thank you to him in case he's listening or if anyone from his ministry is listening. And I'm not saying this now, for any fuss with anyone else that might be listening. But since other people are taking credit for it, I just thought that for those who listen and they want to hear the truth, that was done by a private citizen.
Mm-hmm. So who's taking credit?
Well, I don't know if you listened to the Savannah debate the other night, but if you did, you know exactly what I'm saying.
No, I didn't, unfortunately.
Okay, well, I would encourage you to go back and listen to it.
Okay, we'll do.
Mm-hmm. And because my phone was blowing up that night, the next day, and even today, because I had people calling me today saying that they expected to hear me on your show this morning, correcting that. And like I said, I know that you remember this, Mr. Connor, when I called your show, when Minister J was on there, because at first he was a little bit confused about where I was talking about. And I said to him, Mr. Connor knows exactly where I'm talking about. He can tell you. You obviously did. And he communicated with me, and he even sent me, the little map that they had drawn up to make the changes out there. And last year when I was away, that was March last year, I left the island to go do back surgery. And when I got out of the hospital, I had people calling me, and they were saying, oh, your name was on the radio. I said, about what? And they say, well, Minister J was on, and he said he didn't know if I was listening, but he just wanted me to know that next week this thing would be done. Well, I came home at the end of May, and it still wasn't done. And I called your show to ask you if you could inquire and find out, why it wasn't done yet. Well, I did get an answer as to why it was delayed. I'm not going to get into that because I don't want this to come across as personal. So again, I just want to say thank you to Minister J for hearing my cry that I've been crying for from the post office was built. And now at least we have a proper turning lane, a legal turning lane to the school and to the post office. I'm going to finish with that one. And then I wanted to touch on, the debate, because I'm really not impressed with what I'm hearing. And since Radio Cayman is now doing debate, I would like for the moderators to ask a question. I realize that they've started already, so the question would not be posed to those who have come on already, but to any of those who are not dodging and are willing to come on and hear the questions that the people want asked. I would really like the question to be asked about why our labor law has not been updated. Why are we still using a law that outdates some of us? And when Minister Roy Borden did a draft update of that labor law, I know that a lot of people remember who fought him down on it. It didn't even make it to the House. So the labor law remains the same, and it doesn't benefit any Caymanian. So I want to listen to Radio Cayman's debate, because I do believe that the questions that will be asked there would be more in line with the concerns of us, the people who live here, us, the Caymanians, not locals, but Caymanians. We are Caymanians. That's what we want to be called. And for those who don't understand that, clearly you are not a Caymanian. I don't care how long you've lived here. And let us hear the answers. I am not going to penalize anyone who comes across as nervous. That is not easy to do. And even if you are a trained public speaker, you're being questioned, you have to think fast on your feet. And, it takes a special type of animal to do that and to ace it. So I'm not going to hold it against them if they come across as nervous. But I would like to hear their answers to it and what they would do if they were elected. I know that I've probably taken up more time than I should have, but I would leave it there, and I will continue listening.
Thank you. Thank you very much, caller, for that. Paul, we still have one more caller on hold. Let's grab the other caller before we go to the break. Caller, good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
Yeah, we'll see how you doing.
I'm fine. How are you?
Hanging in here, Mr. Ray Singh. How are you, sir?
I'm doing very well. Happy Friday, sir.
Yeah. Well, see, I listened to Jan, and I kind of agreeing with what Jan said. See, we still got a couple of days left before this election, and the government needs someone to come on the radio station before they're voting for the referendum. This, especially the cannabis. I'm not too worried about the numbers. I'll vote for that one. But the cannabis, who is going to control that? can Elvis McKeewa on the block grow the marijuana and sell it to whoever, or the government going to bring some foreigner from overseas to sell it and distribute it? These are questions that a lot of people been talking to me and asking me. They say they can't vote because nobody has come on to explain it to them. Will someone locally be able to distribute it? All of these is questions. So I'm asking you if you can get hold to any government official and ask them to come in to explain this. And with the lottery again, who is going to control it? Government is going to give license to people to sell it? Or what about the Jamaica lottery, the Philippine lottery, and the Honduras lottery? That's not going to stop, you know. They have no power. No government can stop that. So all of these is questions that need to be answered before people can vote yes or no on these things. And I'm asking you, Mr. Connor, if you can get hold to some government officials.
Okay, I think we heard that already, to get them to come on to explain it. We'll see what can be done, caller.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you very much, caller. We have to go to a commercial break. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Subway and Oreo has changed the dessert game. Introducing the Oreo Footlong Cookie, a full 12 inches of chocolatey, creamy goodness. It's big, it's bold, and it's here for a limited time. Perfect for sharing or not. We won't judge. Want it fast? Order ahead with the Subway Cayman Islands app for quick pickup and earn loyalty points. Or get it delivered straight to your door with Bento and Let's Eat. Don't wait. Treat yourself today. The Oreo Footlong Cookie is calling your name. Subway. Eat fresh. Snack sweet.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Here are a few tips that will benefit you. Ensure to log out completely when you finish any online banking activities. Be aware of phishing attempts and only click links from trusted sources that are sent from your device through emails and messages. Remember, Cayman National will never ask you for your credentials. If you suspect a fraud attempt or that your account has been compromised, please immediately contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Freedom, Cayman Brack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
And welcome back to Talk Today. I'm Ray Singh. In case you're just tuning in, a very happy Friday to you. Mr. OC and I teaming up today to hold down the fort. I will say this has been a very unique experience. I'm not going to lie, Mr. OC. I do have a hint of jealousy. Since being in the show today, I've seen someone bring you lunch. I've heard a caller call today to comment on your food. They look out for you, man. I come in the studio and I have to bring the food myself.
Yep.
Yeah, we do have 2 callers on the line, though, so let's take those calls. Good afternoon, caller. Thanks for calling Talk Today.
You ain't there not came on for Cologne, that's why.
Good afternoon again, Miss Jen.
You ain't wearing that cologne, my dear. You soon get some, don't worry.
Miss Jen, if you know what cologne it is, he won't share the secret with you, so I don't know.
I'll share the secret when I see it, because I'm going to tell you the honest God true. When I started hearing you on the radio, I did not picture you, who I see today on the on the TV. I had a different aspect of you, and I'm like, this is totally different from what I was seeing in my head, that this is who this man is.
I'm either taking that as the best compliment ever, or that was the worst.
That was a half.
I love it.
But you know what I call that for? In regards to the ganja. Ganja is drugs. And I don't care how you put it, it's drugs, right? And if we go and pass that, do you know what other drugs that are come down the line behind that? The kind of first thing I use the word and say, we passed a law for drugs. They're not gonna look at it no more as ganja. You understand where I'm coming from, OC?
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna want to bring the heroin. They want to bring cocaine, and they're gonna want to bring the meth, and they're gonna want to this, and they want to bring that, and we're gonna just be one blown up island here that who is not grinning their head off and be sleeping on the side of the road or going into the grocery store, getting something to eat and walking out without paying for it. We got to put this island into a zombie. But if we don't look at what we are trying to do to this island and why we have to have all this stupidness to keep this island rolling when this island could roll years ago without these three things, three things you can say. Why is it now that it is a must? Is it that we're going to die overnight because these people need these three things and yakety yak? I ain't seen nobody die since they've been talking about the port. I ain't seen nobody die since they talk about the ganja and the gambling. We just need to stop following every other part of the world and what they're doing. We were unique. That's why people came to this island from the beginning. And we are just ruining this, trying to please Tom, Dick, and Harry, from the investors down to ganja and gambling. I have nothing more to say.
Thank you so much, Rich.
Thank you.
We do have one other caller. Before we take the other caller, I do want to read a couple of our comments that have come in via WhatsApp. One, which is quite relevant to what Miss Jan was just talking about, looking at it from the other side of the coin. Mr. Osiana and I had a good chuckle at this one. This coming in from WhatsApp. The only dangerous thing about marijuana is if a brick of it drop out of the sky and hit you in the head. Marijuana has not harmed anyone ever other than to send the police the rights to cause tyranny to the users. Eloquent choice of words. We have some very long ones in regards to the casino. If Cayman had a casino, Cayman would need more taxis and buses to take people from West Bay to Road to East End. The new type of jobs and possibly new career for most people on the island. Blackjack dealers, poker dealers, roulette, dice. These positions are all very respectable jobs. Being in any of those positions as a dealer is just as good as any bellman, bartender, or waiter jobs available on the island right now. I would say being a dealer in a casino would make 3 times as much as a bellman, bartender, or waiter. Again, those are two of our comments that have come in through WhatsApp. Thank you for those. We do have one other caller on the line. Good afternoon, caller. Thanks for calling Talk today.
Good afternoon, Mr. O.C. and co-host.
Good afternoon, caller.
Funny thing is, I'm sitting here listening. This is not what I called for, but I'm sitting here listening, right? And it just seems to me that the government put a referendum in motion, and nobody knows what they're going to. Nobody knows exactly what the referendum is standing for them to vote for it, right? Because there was no clear view on what it is they want. Are they planning to legalize marijuana? Are they just planning to white people records have been charged in the gambling? Are they saying just the cruise ships can gamble? Are you going to have gambling in hotels or gambling island-wide?
Yeah, real questions.
Right?
Yep.
So they haven't really said exactly what it is that people are voting for, thereby confusing people, right? So I'd just like to put that out there. And what I really call for is, in this election cycle, I've been looking at the debates and listening to what the candidates are saying, right? Especially the candidates that have already been elected or was already in government prior at some point. And, I took the time to go back and look at the old debates. And it's the same questions, the same exact answers, and always the same solutions that they're putting forward. So, I mean, they didn't actually do anything, right?
You're absolutely correct. I agree with you. It's the same conversation.
So it's quite confusing to me when they come up there and then they're saying these same rhetoric over and over again. I mean, as a voting Caymanian, I'm kind of tired of it, right? you know, is it really hard for us to make Cayman feasible for all Caymanians? And the more I think about it, right, we have 95,000 people here and 25,000 Caymanians. Right? Is it hard to deal with 25,000 Caymanians? Right?
It shouldn't be, right?
I mean, we're left here and we talk, and I listen to them talking about town and what you can do about the cruise ships. I mean, we've gone and we put pavers in town with no clear view of what you want town to be. If you have to revitalize town properly and buildings have to be rebuilt, right, what are you going to do with the new roads? Are there enough electricity on those roads to go to the buildings? Are there enough data lines to go to these buildings? Will we have to tear back up the road? Is there enough water lines going in? Did they do all this stuff? Or did we just put these roads in and cap the roads in and have to go back and dig it up after spending all the money to do it? So these are real questions that is kind of bothering me because it just shows a waste of funds, right?
Absolutely, you're right. We want to, people have a right to know what's going on.
Yeah, and it's just lack on everything. I think that we've done in Cayman Islands as a government has literally been half done, over budget, right?
That might be a global problem. I don't know if that's a Cayman problem. I think every country in the world has this management problem.
I live here.
Yeah, no,
So
agreed.
I can only say what I'm seeing here. I mean, there's no government project I think that have been done within budget. There's no government project that have been done properly that say, well, it's finished and it's done properly. We keep doing these things, and it's always band-aid things that we're doing that costing John public monies and ending up in a situation such as they're going out there and talking about the cost of living and saying that, you know, you have building LED rated homes and doing this, but they're telling the John public to tighten up their belts on what they're spending in order to save money, but government is spending frivolously. Right?
Very, very valid points, especially
which leads back to the cost of living to begin with, because somebody has to pay for what government spends.
No, you're absolutely correct, caller. Right? You're absolutely correct.
Okay, so that stuff, as I'm listening to this stuff, it bothers me that these are the things and the solutions that they bring in, the same solutions they had 4, 8, 12 years ago.
No, you're absolutely correct, yeah. We're recycling the same conversations every election.
Yeah, and I know Mr. Connor and doing debates on Radio Cayman, the question should be asked, what, especially to people that has been in politics before, what you're saying any different than we did 8 years ago, 4 years ago? What are you saying any different? And if you are saying the same thing, why wasn't it done to begin with?
No, caller, you're very valid.
I think that's valid questions, right?
Yep, they are.
Ask that to the new candidates, but the older ones, I think the question you be asked is a little bit frustrating, right?
Caller, if you don't mind.
And it's hard to choose who you're going to vote for, too, because, you know, you're listening, and it's hard to even judge, and I'd like to say this before I go.
Please.
It's hard to even judge a person and a new candidate with the time that you have to do it in, right? I think the time is too short to judge what that person is going to do, what they're about, and all this stuff. The time is too short to judge you.
But caller, that is why you have to utilize other means. Go to their meetings, or when they come to visit you, knock on your door. Then you hold their feet to the fire and keep them there and question them.
Yeah. Right. So we're judging those people in 2 months.
No, that's a fair point.
Right? That's what I'm saying. We're judging those people and trying to draw a conclusion for the best person, which can affect all of our lives.
Right? You're absolutely right.
Yeah, but there are some jurisdictions that is a shorter period of time than that. We have a luxury here in the Cayman Islands. Sometimes we just expect, more than we really need.
Yeah. Caller, we do have to go to commercial break shortly. We have a guest in the studio. Thank you so much. If I could comment on, because I think the caller made a great point, and we go to elections every year, or every country goes to elections at some point, and we have these 4-year cycles, right? And it's a scenario where you are bonding yourself to the decisions that these individuals are making in a short time frame. And if I could compare it to marriage for a second, because when you commit to a marriage, right, you're committing to a long-term investment of so many things in that process, right? And the difference between a marriage and choosing a candidate for a 4-year cycle, if you decide the day after you get married you made a mistake, you can haul yourself down to the Grand Court, file your paperwork, easy peasy, you have not ruined your life. If you select a government that says one thing, and the next day they decide, you know what, our priorities have changed, you're stuck for 4 years, whatever that might happen, you're stuck with that scenario unless you have what we had this past time, where you have 3 different kind of changeovers in a year and a half.
No, I agree to a certain extent, but I do believe that during that 4-year period, you still have mechanisms by which you can pressure the elected officials to do things or to change their position on things. I don't think that we have to wait until the next election cycle to do that.
You just got to be invested and engaged.
Yes,
right? And it's tough.
And persistent.
And persistent. And you have to. That's just the reality of any political scenario. You have to be invested and engaged the whole process. And I appreciate it is hard to do that when you have families and kids and traffic and everything else. We can't all be attacking every issue, right?
But I'd really like to comment. We had our nominations on the 3rd of March.
Yes.
3rd of March. Elections until the 30th of April.
Yes.
A jurisdiction, 19 constituencies, 58 candidates because we had 59, but one dropped out. Right? A population of under 100,000. And basically, we know everyone. What much more do we need to know? You have the Chamber Forum. We have Radio Cayman now doing the debates.
Their meetings.
You have their meetings. Yeah. You have them coming on to talk shows, as well. What else do we need?
We don't need anything else.
Do we need to make a date with them? With that, let's take a commercial break. And when we return, we will have Miss... Marla Dukharan, renowned regional economist in the studio with us. Folks, don't change that dial. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Hi, I'm Deputy Governor Franz Manderson, and I'm excited to announce the DG's 5K Challenge is just around the corner. We kick off things in Little Cayman on March 9th, followed by Cayman Brac on March 16th, and the grand finale on Grand Cayman on March 30th. This year, we're supporting the Cayman Islands Girls Brigade, the Cayman Islands Scouts Association, and the 1-to-1 Foundation, each helping to shape our next generation. Join us in making a positive impact. For registration details, find us on Facebook at DG's 5K Challenge.
She hear clunk and her car stop. I was just about to send her some money, so I send it straight to her JN money transfer card. It cost me less, and perhaps she use the card, pay the garage right away. She'll get discount through the JN Rewards program in Jamaica. This card make things easy. You can even get funds at any multi-link ATM.
JN Money Transfer Card. Fast, affordable, convenient. Tell your loved ones in Jamaica about it. Sign up is free.
Hi, this is Donna Bush, your PPM candidate for Savannah.
Hi, this is Alva Saku, your PPM candidate for Newlands.
Come out on Saturday, March 22nd at 7 p.m. to our joint Savannah and Newlands area meeting at the ICCI parking lot.
Come listen to the issues and solutions that matter to you. We are proven stable leadership.
Moving forward with the PPM.
We're moving forward, PPM. We're moving forward.
Your mornings just got a whole lot buzzier. Join me, Kathy Miller, every Tuesday and Thursday from 7:30 to 9:30 a.m. on The Buzz, Radio Cayman's morning talk show with insight, impact, and inspiration, covering business, policy, finance, health, culture, and the biggest local and global issues impacting our Cayman community. With fresh perspectives from younger generations to stories of inspiration from local entrepreneurs. Tune in and turn up Tuesday and Thursday mornings, 7:30 to 9:30 with me, Kathy Miller, on The Buzz. The Buzz.
Radio Cayman Talk Today continues.
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you're just tuning in, I'm Ray Singh here with Mr. OC. We're teaming up today to bring you the most awesome show in Cayman, Talk Today. But pleased to have back in studio. She was here earlier in the week prior to the Tuesday night CPR community rally, I believe was the name that was going by on Tuesday night. Welcome back to Talk Today, Ms. Marla.
Thank you. Thanks for having me back.
So the most important question, what has been the highlight of your trip this time, other than hanging out with Mr. OC and I? Because we know this is number one. You're not topping this one. What's number two on your list?
The highlight? I mean, seeing waves on 7 Mile Beach. That was my highlight.
You can't go wrong with that.
No. It was very choppy. What was that? Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yesterday was very calm.
Yeah.
But 7 Mile Beach is always my highlight.
You can't go wrong.
Except if I make it to Rum Point, which I didn't this trip.
Yet.
But Rum Point, yet. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
plenty of time.
The day is young, yeah.
The day's young, the weekend's young. You got a whole couple days to go,
exactly.
right? Traffic's going to be a little lighter on the weekend. Yeah, you're good to go.
So maybe I'll go around to Rum Point tomorrow. Yeah.
And so how was the rally the other night? Because I know, just if you don't mind, bring our
Sure.
listeners back up to date. There was yourself and Michelle in the studio.
Yes.
And you were doing their community rally, but there was some report findings you want to talk about. Before we go into all those,
Yes.
tell us how the rally went.
I think it went really well. It was quite well attended. The hall was full.
Good.
Which is really good. And
Any
lots of-
fights?
No.
Any
Well,
arguments?
no physical fights.
Ah,
no.
right. Someone's got to ask. Right? I didn't hear anything about it, but you never know.
I mean, I guess you know what. Respectful disagreement is healthy, right? So
Absolutely.
of course there were disagreements, and that's fine. We don't just swallow everything we get wholesale without critiquing and critical thinking, and so there were some disagreements, and that's fine. And it was well attended. Saw lots of young people. That's always a good sign.
When you say young, like kids or like young adults?
Well, I would say there were kids
Okay, good.
who I guess their parents brought them, but young adults, and it's good to see because there's this trend globally where young people are increasingly not participating in the political process and voting and things like
Sure,
that,
yeah.
and they don't see the use of it. They think it doesn't make a difference, and they're apathetic. But it's good to see young people come out in Cayman and be passionate about the future of their country and want to learn about what's at stake and things like that. So I was glad to see quite a few young people.
That's always, because that comment you made about like that absence of engagement in younger folks.
Mhm.
I hear the argument a lot of times that, oh, sure, what difference does it make? And you know what I hear when I hear that? I just hear that you're being lazy. You don't want to really do the research on the work. And you don't want to go and you don't put the time in to register. And being a part of the process takes time. We were just talking about that a minute ago, how much time it takes to be involved in the process. And hearing that there's younger voters out there taking that time, that's awesome.
Well, we can't just say they're lazy.
No, it's not just lazy, but it is a part of the process.
Sorry.
Yeah. I just want to say that, especially like if you look at my country, for example, Trinidad and Tobago, I can see how a young person could think that regardless of which party is in power, and there are just two main parties in Trinidad and Tobago, it really don't make a difference. To be very honest, it's like, and so I could see how young people could feel like it doesn't matter who I vote for. It doesn't matter who's in charge. SSDD, right?
Yes. Ain't changing. It's the same conversation.
And I don't know that it's just laziness. It's also a bit of what the evidence has shown these people, these young people, and it can really make you feel discouraged.
It is frustrating. My son's out here watching the show and he's taking notes, and I like that he's engaged. Sorry, I'll see.
So you've been involved in several projects, a few projects in the Cayman Islands now. Just for a listening and viewing audience, give us a little background of yourself and some of the work that you have been involved in here in the Cayman Islands. You're from the Caribbean. You're one of us, and sometimes we don't necessarily embrace what our own people have to say. So that's very interesting.
So I'm from Trinidad. I was born there. I went to school there, did economics in the 1990s in the University of the West Indies, and then again in the early 2000s, and again in the early 2000s. And I worked mostly in banking, and then I became disillusioned with banking and went to move to Barbados in 2018 to work for a fintech company, because their mission was to drive financial inclusion, because you cannot solve poverty unless you solve financial inclusion. And so I really believe in that. I still believe in solving financial inclusion, but we have banks that have formed an oligopoly in the region, and so they're a very formidable force to overcome as it relates to financial inclusion. I have done advisory work for a few governments across the Caribbean. I sit on 4 boards, 3 in the Caribbean, Goddard Enterprise Limited, which is the largest conglomerate headquartered in Barbados. They have operations in nearly 30 countries in the Caribbean and Latin America. And I sit on the board of RF Bank and Trust, which has operations here in Cayman. I sit on the board of an NGO, not-for-profit organization, not NGO, in Jamaica called the Caribbean Policy Research Institute, which does research and evidence-based policy recommendations to help to shape policy making in Jamaica and the wider Caribbean. And also the Tax Justice Network on their board. And what else? In terms of the work that I've done here in Cayman, I've done economic impact studies for Cayman Enterprise City and for that on the 7 Mile Beach renourishment issue. And now this cruise tourism study that I've done in Cayman. Basically, I was asked by CPR Cayman to make a presentation at their event, which happened this Tuesday night. And normally when I'm asked to do a presentation, of course, I do my research and make my slides with all of my data. I love charts. This one was a bit different. I just said, look, first of all, if you want a PR exercise, well, you need to go to a PR firm. I'm an economist, right? And I'm going to do my research and see what the research and the data tells me. I don't know what the answer is yet. And if you're prepared for me to come and present my findings, whatever they are, then sure, we can go ahead. But I can't, I'm not a gun for hire. And they said, sure, go ahead, go off and do your research, and whatever your findings are, come and share with us. So that's what I did. And I, in trying to do this presentation, I realized, I need to take a step back and do something a lot more comprehensive and in-depth, because this is a very complex issue in this country. It's a much more complex issue than most countries. Yeah. And because it's so heavily politicized, right? And so what I did was I went into basically did a literature review and looked at the literature on the Caribbean as a whole in terms of tourism, as well as cruise tourism. In the paper, you will see I did a section on tourism as a whole in the Caribbean, cruise tourism as a whole in the Caribbean. Then I drill down to Cayman, just so that you set the proper context, right? Because it's one thing to look at your country and how things are performing in your country. But if you don't do a benchmarking exercise and say, you know what, well, actually, other countries are going this way or that way, and therefore here's where we stack up. Does it mean that we're actually, are things moving in the right direction or not? If everybody is going in one direction and you're going in another, that might give you a signal that something's not quite right, So, and in that benchmarking exercise, I actually found that, because when you initially just look at Cayman data as it relates to cruise, you might think, okay, we have a problem here. But actually, y'all have better disembarkation rates here at 84% compared to Bahamas at 81%. You have higher spending per passenger here. You have the one of the highest rates of people who come and buy onshore tours here, and so on and so forth. I can go into those details later on, but I found that you all are actually performing pretty well, which I shouldn't have been surprised, that Cayman is performing really well as it relates to its cruise tourism sector. Now, yes, we've had a decline in the number of passengers arriving, and part of that might be the post-COVID hangover, right? But actually, you're doing a lot better than many other jurisdictions, again, in terms of arrivals. So not everything is looking, relatively worse here in Cayman than everybody else, if you know what I mean. Actually, you're looking quite, and it's all detailed in the report. The report is available on my website for free. Anybody can download it. Great. Yeah. Yeah. Okay,
we're going to soon be going to a commercial break.
Sure.
When we return, I'm curious to know as to whether or not you did an analysis also in terms of the benefits from cruise tourism.
Yeah.
How much do in other jurisdictions and compared to Cayman?
Yeah.
How much do the locals derive from it as opposed to, because there's always this debate between the cruise ships and local. Great,
it's in there.
So we want to hear about that, because that's a huge debate here in the Cayman Islands, because the question has always been, and this was from my days in college, and don't ask me how long that was, but tourism for home, development for home. And, we need to answer those questions as well. So, folks, we're going to take a commercial break, go to our headline news at 2 o'clock. When we return, our conversation with Miss Marla Dukharan will continue. Don't change that dial. Please stay tuned. Talk Today. We'll be back shortly.
We are Radio Cayman,
covering Cayman Brac, Little Cayman, and Grand Cayman.
1 in a million. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines.
The headline news is brought to you by Kirk Market.
With a look at your latest headlines, I'm Jevi Ebanks. Red Sky at Night is this weekend. Headlining the event this year is Swanky Kitchen Band. With over 50 local artists and artisans will line the thatch walk, offering creations ranging from jewelry, fashion, paintings, photography, and sculptures to artisanal sauces, soaps, books, plants, and novelties, just to name a few. Tickets for Red Sky at Night are available online at ticketplus.ky through today. Tickets will also be offered on the day of the event from 3:30 p.m. at $15 for adults and $5 for children. In regional news, Jamaica Foreign Affairs Minister Kamina Johnson-Smith stated no evidence of human trafficking was found in Jamaica's 50-year medical cooperation program with Cuba. A review initiated before international scrutiny confirmed the program's integrity through administrative improvements, though administrative improvements were noted. Johnson-Smith emphasized Jamaica's diplomatic approach, maintaining strong ties with both Cuba and the U.S., despite U.S.'s allegations of exploitation in Cuba's medical mission. She expressed confidence in renewing the partnership, which has provided critical healthcare support since 1976. The Bahamas government has signed an agreement to develop its first liquefied natural gas terminal, marking a shift toward cleaner energy. Prime Minister Philip Davies announced that the project's first phase will begin this year, reducing carbon emissions and creating jobs. The deal involves Shell and Freeport Oil Company Limited, but Opposition Free National Movement criticizes the lack of transparency in the bidding process. Davis emphasized the initiative's role in energy reform, lowering electricity costs and fostering economic growth. Plans to solarize the islands and improve the power grid are also underway. That is your latest headlines. I'm Jevi Ebanks.
www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Radio Cayman Talk Today continues.
And welcome back to Talk Today. Raymond Singh, joined by Mr. Orrett Connor here in studio for Talk Today. And pleased to have back in studio this week Miss Marla Dukharan, who was here for the CPR community rally on Tuesday night, sharing some of the findings of an intensive report she has compiled, just kind of looking holistically at the tourism sector as a whole, not just here in Cayman and throughout the wider region of the Caribbean. Ms. Marla, if we can jump back to you and that report and the meeting last night, what were some of the findings? Oh, sorry, Mr. O.C., you had a question prior to the break you want to jump into.
Yes, I had asked Ms. Dukharan about figures in relation to the benefits accrued by
Right.
locals from
Right.
tourism.
You did.
We hear about complaints, let's say, for instance, tour operators,
Mhm.
that the cruise ships get the lion's share,
Mhm.
of, of,
Okay.
what has been taking place, and whether or
Yes.
not, from that side of things, how much are we benefiting?
So, before I go to that, in general, in the Caribbean, no country has calculated the net fiscal, meaning government revenue,
Mhm.
or net foreign exchange revenue from the tourism sector, which includes the cruise tourism. What do I mean by that? Okay, so a hotelier comes, he wants to build a hotel, you give him a concession, he builds his hotel, his tourists come, stay in his hotel, they eat and drink and have a lovely time, but all of that is imported.
Mhm.
To turn on the lights, it's imported, the food is imported, everything's imported that they consume, almost everything, right? Of every dollar that a tourist spends, after you cover all of those imports, after you take into consideration the profits that that hotelier takes, repatriates back to wherever Hilton
Mhm,
is
mhm,
headquartered or Hyatt is headquartered, how much is left here in this country? Nobody's calculated that. In the whole Caribbean, there isn't enough data to calculate that. That's net foreign exchange impact. I highlight that in my report. Nobody's calculated it. The fiscal impact. You've given a concession to this hotelier, right? You spend money promoting the tourism sector. How much does the country earn on a net basis, meaning how much revenue does the government earn? Yes, we have the tourism accommodation tax and we have those numbers that we can measure. Do we have the numbers on the concessions? We don't. So my point is, we do not know if on a net basis in Cayman or any country in the Caribbean, whether we are subsidizing the tourism sector or we are earning on a net basis from the tourism sector. No country in the Caribbean has measured this.
Can I ask a question on
Of
that?
course.
For a jurisdiction like Cayman that is as sophisticated legally, financially, data-driven, like there's so much data-driven reports coming out of government and private sector every year. This doesn't seem like a very complex one to figure out. So
not.
it's obviously it's a personal choice being made by the governments not to produce.
Of course it's a
this.
choice.
Yeah. So with that said,
Mhm.
could we actually find an independent way of actually finding that? Because Mr. Rodriguez shared an article from the Jamaica Gleaner where they claimed, the Gleaner in Jamaica, I don't know where their data comes from, but that 40% of Jamaica's, to that point of how much is remaining in their economy, only 40 cents on the dollar remains in Jamaica. That 60% is going to those
But
foreign.
actually, I think 40 cents is great. And you know what? Jamaica is one of those countries that has one of the higher local content
Sure.
proportions in their tourism product, because
Okay.
remember they have a lot of agriculture
Mhm.
in Jamaica, and so they don't have the proportion of importation and what we call import dependency,
Sure.
right?
Yes,
As the rest of us do, because they grow a lot of their
Yeah.
not all, but they grow a lot of food
Mhm. Yeah.
in
Mhm.
Jamaica.
Mhm.
So they have 40%, and so we can safely assume that the rest of us it's lower.
Yeah.
Yes, because of our particular situations, we import everything here.
Well, this is the thing.
Well,
this is the thing.
that's 60% that's not going.
That's
into-
leaving. Mhm.
That's leaving.
Leakage,
They
yeah.
don't explain if that's going out of the country or just going into some bigger corporations that are domiciled elsewhere.
Well, then it's out of the country.
Yeah, it's out of the country.
Yeah.
But it's those are here in Cayman though. We have rightfully to your point, in Jamaica they use a lot of their own labor, a lot of their own food. They produce a lot of their stuff within their industry. We don't. We
Mhm.
import everything. So there's so much that is.
So the report that I wrote last February spoke
okay.
to this.
Yes.
That the import component of the tourism sector in Cayman is the most import dependent, because not only do you import the food and the alcohol or like other countries do to feed the tourists. I remember the tourism minister in Jamaica, Bartlett, said we bring in the tourists in the top of the plane and the food to feed them in the belly of the plane, right? But Cayman it goes a step further in terms of importing the labor in that sector, whereas other countries have a big tourism sector because that's how they create work for the large workforce in Jamaica, Dominican Republic,
Sure.
Barbados,
Yeah.
the Eastern Caribbean, and so on. That's where people are gaining employment. Here in Cayman, you import the labor for this sector. So I would imagine that the leakage is higher
Yes.
here
yes.
than, say, Jamaica or Dominican Republic or other smaller countries.
So now you mentioned also about the hotels, the tourism industry.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that we know either. If you as a tourist make a booking
Mm-hmm.
from the United States,
Mm-hmm.
you pay with your credit card.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is that money really deposited in the Cayman Islands, or does it stay in the U.S.? It never ever comes to the Cayman Islands.
So to that point, and sorry to derail what you asked me initially. If you go to my report on page 14, I have it there, right?
Yes, yeah.
There's a chart on the right-hand side, right? The second chart on the right-hand side where I show. So what we did is we went to the different attractions you have here and look at the price. Glass Bottom Boat, roughly $75. Stingray City, $80, let's say. Bioluminescent Bay, horseback riding, dolphin encounter, Crystal Caves, right? And we put on a chart the cost of these things. And then we took the economic contribution to tour operators from cruise passengers, this is the data we got from the Brea report.
Okay.
In Cayman, it's $47 on average that a tour operator gets from the cruise ship for every passenger that does a tour. $47, which I think is terribly unfair. It's about half of the of say Glass Bottom Boat. It's a fraction of what the tours cost, and what a stopover tourist or somebody like us, if we want to go on a tour, we would pay, upward of $100 for some of these tours. But because the cruise ships take a big chunk of what the tour operators get, because they've booked it through the cruise ship, what the tour operator gets is only $47 on average. So that answers, I think, the earlier question.
Yes,
how
yes,
much
yes,
stays,
it does.
your local people? It's in this report on page 14. I presented it on Tuesday night at the CPR event, and it really is a heartbreaking story. When I saw that, I thought, no, $47, that's all a tour operator is getting. That's nothing.
But isn't it so? Then the question then on that one, if we can't, if the market dictates those prices, and the broker who is the cruise ship is taking their percentage, I think maybe we have to get to a solution here. At some point, we have to have a solution
You
for
have
the
to
tour operators.
negotiate harder with these cruise lines.
But okay, and to that point, fair enough. Well, the conversation though on the port of whether it should or should not, it is the tour operators. It is this industry of tour operators who are championing the loudest for this port, not against this port. They are saying we want the port. We need more of the numbers.
Okay.
And to their point, when they call in and they say, listen, we need this. This is our industry. This is our bread and butter. We're getting $47. It's
On
not
average.
It's not a lot. So in order for us to make our ends meet, we need about 30% more cruise shippers to get more of those $47. To those, they call in and they say that. What do you say as an economist to that?
I would say
Yes.
Like I said this morning on the Miss Sandra's show.
Oh, you were on her show this morning. How was it?
You see this glass, right? It was great. I had an amazing time.
Good.
And she has an amazing infrastructure where she can pull up charts and pull documents. I felt like I was in the metaverse. It was fantastic. I enjoyed it. That was the best interview I've ever had ever.
Well, how are you going to come in the station?
Sorry.
How are you going to come in the
Sorry.
station? Hold on a second. That's okay. Hold on a second.
Sorry, guys.
Man, you got to give you credit for bravery. Bravery, I give you credit.
I call it as it is. Okay?
You're like Miss
So
Jam.
we have this glass, right? And this glass can only hold so much water. Yeah. Do you want to fill this glass with people who you're going to get $47 from? Or you want to fill this glass with tourists that you can get $100 from? That's a no-brainer. You don't need to be an economist to tell you that answer. So my point is, first of all, the authorities or somebody needs to help these tour operators to negotiate better with these cruise operators, because these are ruthless business people.
Sure.
Right? Whereas tour operators here in Cayman, we're nice and soft and fluffy and feel good, We're not ruthless business people, maybe, and we need help with that. But otherwise, I think you need to think about quality versus the quantity. You want the people who can fill this glass with people who can pay $100 for the tour.
No doubt. No, I agree.
And they're paying the $100, huh? It's just that the cruise ship
Gotta get-
getting 60.
yes.
But what if they came on shore, booked their own tour, or what if you were able to negotiate more with a cruise line that was more responsible and wasn't just trying to make?
Sure.
There's another chart, Mr. O.C., because you asked me a question about
Sure,
how
sure.
much do they make versus how much we make. There's another chart I want to point to, and it is on page 18 on the right-hand side of my report. Oh, wait, no, not page 18. What am I saying? Oh, gosh, I have so many charts. I get dizzy with all of these charts. There's a chart where I went to Carnival Cruise Lines and pulled down data. Here it is on page 9. What I did was, so this was the only one I can get publicly available data, right? And calculated their gross profit per passenger, right? And then I looked at what the Brea study had in terms of total direct expenditure per onshore passenger, right? So what each onshore passenger is spending in your country versus what the cruise line got. The cruise line gets on average $640 in gross profit per passenger. $640 in gross profit per passenger is what the cruise line, this particular Carnival, CCL, right? How much does Cayman get? Cayman gets about a fourth of that. Okay? Cayman gets $157.
Yes.
Panama gets 402. So Panama gets about half. Because a lot of people like to go and shop in Panama.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
Yeah.
Trinidad gets $82 compared to the $640.
Did you just knock Cayman's negotiation skills and then follow it up with it?
No, well, this $157 is how much they spend on shore. So they will spend on average $47 on a tour. They might have lunch, they might have a beer. So it adds up to an average of about $157 based on this, on the ones who come on shore.
Sure.
Okay? So when you look at what they are getting, the cruise lines, compared to what we're getting here, we're getting a quarter of what they get.
So I don't know. We have to go to commercial break in just a moment. But I'm not questioning at all that there needs to be a stronger negotiation arm at that table when negotiating it. The question is still to those independent operators who are running tours and doing the thing. They can still sell their tours to the island, to the stayover tourists. No one stopped them from doing so. What they are saying and to what they are looking at from their personal pocketbooks when they call in is, we are dependent upon a certain segment of our business is dependent upon this industry. We need to ensure that the numbers continue to grow because we are only getting $47. So we need two things. We need a stronger government lobbyist to go up to Miami and say, listen, we want XYZ for every tourist that comes on board. And number two, we need more of these ships in place. And that's where we kind of get stuck in this conversation.
Right.
And we never get past this point.
Let me unstick you, or do you have to go on a break? Yeah.
Let's unstick right after this break.
Okay.
Back with more talk today right after this.
Okay.
Easter vacation is just around the corner, and Cayman Airways has added multiple extra flights to some of your favorite destinations, some of mine too. Look here, they got seats available now for booking on extra Easter flights between Grand Cayman and Kingston, La Ceiba, Miami, Cayman Brac, Little Cayman, and you can even catch a non-stop flight to Montego Bay for Easter. Check it out. You can visit CaymanAirways.com, contact a local travel agent, or call Cayman Airways Reservations on 949-2311. And don't wait too long though, because these extra Easter seats always sell fast. Be sure to add your Sir Turtle Rewards number to your booking so you can earn more miles for more free trips this year. Well, I know where I'm going. I'll see you on board a uniquely Caymanian airline for Easter.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Protect your computers and mobile devices with security software to defend against cyber attacks through viruses, malware, and other online threats. Be aware of unsecure Wi-Fi connections when in public. If you need to access your online banking or sensitive information on your mobile devices, try disabling the Wi-Fi and switching to data from your mobile network. If you suspect a fraud attempt, please contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter will be taking appointments
February 22nd to the 28th
at his Crew Road Clinic. Appointment slots are limited. Whether you're seeking advanced skin care, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Wayne Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email Dr. Porter Cayman at gmail.com. That's drportercayman@gmail.com. Call 946-9020 to book your appointment today. That's 946-9020. Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Go ahead, Ray.
Oh, we had our first argument. Sorry, OC. And welcome back to Talk Today. I'm Ray Singh with Mr. OC, co-hosting today's show. And pleased to have again in the studio Miss Marla, who's been here this week and a regular on the show and in Cayman talking about the port discussion and her findings via her recent report, which she unveiled on Tuesday nights. On Tuesday night, sorry.
Yeah.
Back to you.
And before we go there,
sorry.
let me just indulge Ms. Dukharan. I'll read this because she did give a response, and I think it's so appropriate. This person says it's not the cruise line's fault, it's ours. We are to blame because we allow the cruise lines to pre-book tours and hedge one operator against the other because of volume. We should have a price point set by our industry, and then they can sell it for whatever. This has been a known fact forever. We just have to allow it to happen. We don't need anyone to go anywhere. We need policies set locally.
Absolutely. I think we definitely need to fix that problem, however you do it. And I think collaboration and dialogue with the authorities supporting the industry is crucial.
Mm-hmm.
But we were going to unstick the whole issue of what was it we were going to unstick again?
We've covered so much.
Yes. No, I think it was the whole issue of the amount of cruise passengers declining, and if we don't get more numbers, they were saying if we don't get more numbers.
Yes.
Here's what I have found in the data. Either by design or by accident, you know that there's a quality spectrum as it relates to these cruise ships and these cruise lines, right?
Absolutely.
For example, I had the gross misfortune one time of being on a Carnival cruise line holiday that my cousin booked us on, and I didn't do my homework. It was my first time, and I just thought, okay, fine, it's a cruise. Only to reach on this cruise, and I was like, why am I here? What is going on? Hairy chess competition going on. The pool it's standing room only in the pool, and it was a nightmare.
And your family's there.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I've never had the urge to go on a cruise.
Yeah, well, me neither. I mean, I got seasick, so yes, that was not a good idea. But I found an article which I quote in my report that sort of separates them by quality. Mm-hmm. The mass market ones, and so this is on page 17 of my report. Mass market is Carnival, MSC, Norwegian, Royal Caribbean. Premium is Celebrity, Cunard, Disney, Holland America, Princess, and Virgin.
Okay.
entry luxury is Azamara, Cunard, Oceana, Viking Ocean, Windstar. And ultra luxury is Crystal, Explorer Journey, Regent, Seven Seas, Ritz-Carlton, Seabourn, and Silver Seas. And then I took that information and kind of mapped it against who's coming here. And the ESO had an image in there, a chart in their report. And they put, the Carnival, Celebrity, Disney, MSC, Norwegian, Royal, and other cruise lines. They looked at the proportion each one of them represents. Mm-hmm. And what I found is that either by accident or by design, you have had a shift away from quantity and mass market to quality cruise lines
really?
Arriving in Cayman.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
and it's in my report.
When did that trend start?
Okay, it looks like it started just before COVID. So it says 2 full years before COVID-19. I'm quoting ESO data here. Mm-hmm. 2 years before COVID-19, 40% of your cruise arrivals here was Carnival. 2 full years after COVID, it's only 29%. It moved from 40 to 29. When you look at Disney, 2 full years before COVID, 6% is what they accounted for in terms of your cruise arrivals here in Cayman. Post-COVID, 2 full years, this is again ESO data, mm-hmm. almost 12%, almost double. So when I look at that, it tells me that y'all have been moving away from the mass market, because then again, those are the ones that come on the mega ships, right? The Carnivals and the Royal Caribbeans. Those are not luxury.
Yes.
Those are not high-end. Those are the hairy chest competition guys, right? And you've been moving more towards quality, and it is a positive move for Cayman. So like I was saying, you have this glass, and this glass can only hold so much. Who do you want to fill it with?
So great. So we have shown that, or the market has shown, because you say we're not sure if it's by design or by what's driving it. Mm-hmm. But so within the COVID frame, 2 years before, 2 years after, we have the tourism industry itself has shifted.
Yes.
So, and part of that shift was what you're saying is that in this region, for Cayman, we are seeing a shift towards the more luxury style of these ships.
Yes.
And the trend looks like it's going to continue for Cayman.
I hope so.
Yeah.
It would be good for you.
So we're still moving that direction, and we still have the industry. At the end of the day, we have to, if we want cruise tourism, we have to work with the industry as it is, or we have to create our own industry for tourism. Maybe that's an option. Maybe there's an option for us to create our own tourism. We become the hub for future of Caribbean tourism. Who knows? The market can do anything it wants, right? So when we look at the data of that one, regionally, you were looking at benchmark locations. What do those benchmarks show in regards to the vast mass volume versus the luxury trend over that same 4-year, 5-year period?
Okay, so I did not have data from the other countries in terms of the breakdown of the cruise lines that arrive. It's real lucky that the ESO gave us that data. Okay. But in terms of a comparison, let me just read for you when I looked at across the other Caribbean countries what I found. Cayman, first of all, has more cruise arrivals than stopovers, right? The Caribbean on the whole, you get about 25 million cruise arrivals versus 20 million stopovers. Okay, so there's, a bit of a little overweight, let's just say, if you think from a portfolio standpoint, a little overweight cruise. Cayman used to be a lot more overweight, right? Let me find the data for you.
Oh, we remember that.
Right. But over time you have shifted. Let me see if I find that data point here. Okay, I'm not finding it right now, but I know you're about 2.5 to 1. Around 2 or 2.5 to 1 cruise to stop over here, right? Okay. So already you're more cruise dominant than the average in the Caribbean, right? So we accept that?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, You have, however, even though you're a dominant cruise, you have a higher than average disembarkation rate. So like I said to you earlier, let's compare to Bahamas, which has the most sophisticated cruise infrastructure. They have a whole island just for the... They have a disembarkation rate of 81%. You have 84%, right? So you're already cruise dominant, more so than the Caribbean. You have a higher disembarkation rate on average than the Caribbean average. You have a higher average onshore tour purchase rate. So a greater proportion of cruise tourists come in to Cayman buy onshore tours versus what they buy in other jurisdictions. Okay? So that's another positive thing you have. You have higher than average earnings per passenger for onshore excursions. Yep. So that little $47 that I think is very unfair. Guess what? Other countries get much less than that. Okay? And you have a trend towards smaller and more high-end cruises, cruise lines and ships versus mass market, which is consistent with the brand. You have to be true to your brand. And this is the brand that the Department of Tourism spent a lot of time, effort, and money to establish globally. And so you're actually doing pretty well, okay? You're actually doing pretty well. Now, there will be those who will say, but my business has suffered, my business has closed down, people have gone out of work, etc., etc. Guess what? Who's collecting that data? Why didn't the ESO collect that data and put it in their report and say, you know what, we've had 12 restaurants or 10 tour operators or 15 or 100 people that lost work? That's important data to have, and we don't have it.
Yes.
Right? They didn't.
So you can't factor that into what you do.
I can't put it there.
But I would like to ask on that, because we brought up before the segment, like the Cayman Islands Tourism Association, who is the lobby group for the actual operators within the actual sector. DOT looks after managing our brand. Ministry of Tourism looks out for our long-term future. CETA, or the Cayman Islands Tourism Association, represents the actual stakeholders in the actual service part of the industry, right?
Right.
That's the group that would have that the ESO.
They're supposed to, and they would have, if the ESO is doing a whole report on cruise tourism.
You go to all of the
parties. You go to all the parties.
Exactly.
Yeah. I have a question that I want to ask for one of our callers before you leave, Ms. Dukharan. This person says, can you please ask Ms. Marla, where does the $640 per person that the cruise makes come from? Is it from pre-sold land-based attractions or what?
It's when you buy a ticket to go on a cruise ship.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. It's when you buy a ticket, and it's whatever you buy on the ship and how much you consume on the ship and whatever you spend.
Because even if you buy the a tour on the ship,
they get a piece of that. So it's all of those things. They're making $640 on average in gross profit margin per passenger, which is nowhere near no country in the whole Caribbean. Panama is the closest one that makes something higher than the rest of us, but Panama is a different kind of market.
Whole different animal altogether.
Everybody's going there to do their duty-free shopping because that's their thing.
That's their thing. That's their selling point.
Exactly.
So just to wrap, because I know we're gonna not see you again. You're leaving.
I have to go to a Cayman Compass now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So not only did you throw us under the bus, and Sandy was you made us out to be, I'm just kidding. But to sum up,
well, you invited that, Ray. I must say.
I did. I thought. I thought we were friends. It was joking.
That was a self-inflicted wound.
It was. But just to sum up, and Ms. Marla, your points, because what I like about speaking with you on this one is you're just coming from the data. You're not throwing an opinion on an emotional factor. You're doing a very logical analysis. And so just to sum up where your position was today, and if I'm wrong, please outline anything I may have missed, just for our listeners. Because we're going to referendum very soon. I don't think you're coming back before elections.
No.
So when you do come back, we may very well have a decision on what's going to happen.
Absolutely. You should have by the time I come back.
Hopefully we do, yeah. So just sum up. The industry itself, yes, we can recognize that our numbers are down. Many are down. The industry itself, though, comparatively to that benchmark, the metrics show that the industry is not doing as bad as it looks in Cayman comparatively to some of the other industries. Whether or not people view that as this is a good sign to build that forward, or this is a good sign to look at safer tourism, is for the people to decide at the referendum. Did I sum up basically where?
I think so. I mean, I think look at the data and see what it says. The only other piece of information that we didn't discuss, which is in my report, is, I looked at socioeconomic factors the ESO did a report last year on the quality of life here
Yes,
in Cayman.
yeah.
And the three things that were most problematic on that survey: job quality, Cayman development, and what was it? Job quality, Cayman development, and I think some
Price of eggs.
No, the environment. I think it was sustainability or something. Those are the factors that are likely to be the most affected by the building of this
Sure.
Bruce Withing. So I wrote about that in the report. And the second thing we didn't touch on that I think is very important for people to hear
Please.
and to read in the report is the fact that, I don't know if you do build cruise building infrastructure, who's going to pay for it? I don't know, right? I don't think anybody knows.
Yeah. But I must say that here in the Cayman Islands, we have had a history, and this is one of the things that I would advocate for, that whatever we do, we shoulder the bill ourselves. We have done it with our airport. We have had offers, for instance, from Canadian companies to build, infrastructure for us. They usually want then to be able to control it for a number of years.
Right.
Our experience here in the Cayman Islands is we pay for it ourselves, we run it ourselves,
Well,
and we
guess
should
what?
continue down that track.
Fiscally, when I look at the fiscal numbers and the fact that the government's debt has doubled in a couple of years, 22 and 23, from versus 2021, the government would be ill-advised to spend that kind of money now.
Okay.
You have a lot of obligations that are off balance sheet right now.
I'm not saying that we should do it, but if we do it, that's
Well, we have off balance sheet large pension and medical health expense obligations to civil servants and retirees and so on. We have debt, and then we have the fiscal framework for
which is too restrictive.
I disagree with you, sir,
you
but that's a
think so?
whole other show. That's a whole other show, right? And I will come with my
the UK
data.
wants to hold us to standards that they themselves don't uphold.
Which is why you do better. You ever see how miserable everybody is when you
It's
do
true. It's
true,
the truth.
True.
So just so we understand this, you want to talk about our pension.
This has been great, and
it is.
If we had more time, this would be the best interview that you would ever have.
Exactly.
I challenge you to invite me back and top the best that I've ever had with Miss Sandra this morning and make it the best. Let's see if you guys can do that.
Sandy, I know you're listening to this right now, so you can milk this moment, Sandy.
Yeah.
I know this is going to be your headline news title. Yes, but Miss Marla, where can people find your report? Last question.
I think if you just Google Marla Dukharan Cruise report, you might find it, but it's on my website as well.
Which is?
marladukharan.com.
Awesome. Thank you
Click
so much.
Insights, and you will see all of my reports. There's many, many, many reports. It's supposed to be the top one there.
Do me a favor. When you go to your Compass Media interview later on, please let them know they are battling for third place. Mr. O.C., closing remarks.
It's been a pleasure. It's really been a pleasure. Thank you very much, folks. Have a great weekend. Please stay safe on our roads as well. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
Amen.
Thank you.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949